public space. So if you're just joining me, again, my name is John Cottrell. I'm in the public space in downtown Salt Lake City. And we're going to be doing a power hour class. So we're going to be focusing on hamstrings today. And before we kind of get into that, so why hamstrings? You know, our hamstrings can get pretty tight and stiff, especially if you've been sitting a whole lot. So, you know, we hold a lot of tension in our neck, our shoulders, our hips, but we also hold tension in our glutes and our hamstrings. So I thought, let's do a practice together to focus on just lengthening, stretching, and releasing any tension and tightness in our hamstrings. Here's the props you might want to be using for your practice today. I like using blocks, so maybe a couple of blocks if you have them. I might end up not using them, but if you like using them for your yoga practice, a couple of yoga blocks is always nice. And we'll be using a strap. If you don't have a strap, maybe just a long belt or just something with length. Even a jump rope can help for your practice today to help lengthen and open the hamstrings. All right, so that's it. So let's go ahead and start. We're going to start together in mountain pose. So I invite you to stand nice and tall near the top of your mat. You might start with your feet about hip distance apart with your toes pointing directly forward. Maybe start here just for a few breaths. And if this becomes uncomfortable for your hips or your knees or ankles, please feel free maybe to take the feet a little wider or even turn your toes out a little bit, whatever feels comfortable. But you mainly want to feel a nice even distribution of weight between the feet as you stand nice and tall. So let's go ahead and do that together. Feel free to close your eyes or just soften your eyes for a few moments and tune into your breath. Just slow, easy breathing. And as you're getting reacquainted with your breath, just notice the sensation of breath as it moves through you. You might even breathe in to hear and feel the breath move upward, lengthening through your spine to fill up your lungs. And as you exhale, you might draw your navel inward towards your spine just to create a nice contraction of your abdominal muscles, just gaining that awareness of your center body. So again, with your deep breaths, you might inhale to feel the lifting and lengthening of your spine, feeling taller and proud, filling up your lungs. And as you exhale, connect to your center. This is the abdominal lock. So drawing navel inward towards your spine, engagement here. Let's take 3 more breaths together and prepare your body to move. When you're ready, inhale and extend your arms overhead. Treat it like a nice stretch. Reach all the way up. And exhale, let's fold forward. So a good hinge from your hips. Bend your knees as much as you need to as you make your way down. Now you might touch your toes, but you don't have to touch your toes. I'm going to let my hands land here at my shins. Then inhale, slide your hands up to your knees or your thighs and extend your spine, a long flat back like you were a table. And exhale, let's fold again and just find that proper space that feels good for you here. You might touch your toes or you might just have your hands at your shins. You might even bring in your stacked blocks, something like this, just to give you a little extra support if you'd like. And if you're able, just hang heavily forward wherever you are, even put a little bit more bend in the knees. And maybe loosen up those other tight places that we talked about, shoulders. Maybe roll your shoulders, big circles here, a little shake of your neck, some release. So you can feel all of that lengthening down through your spine, that space creation in your low back, your upper back, and even in your hamstring, since that is our focus today. So even with the knee bend, you might feel a hamstring stretch right here. Go ahead and lean back into your heels, bend your knees as much as you need to. Look forward to help re-extend your spine. Extend your arms out to the side. Drive your heels into the floor, standing tall, straightening your legs, reaching up towards the ceiling. Big stretch. Exhale, bring your hands together and down to your heart. And just pause. Take a breath. That's our half salute to the sun. We're going to do that again. We're just going to make that flow a little bit more. Whenever you're ready, inhale, extend your arms up, big stretch, reach high. Exhale, leading with your heart, fold forward, good hinge from your hips, bend your knees, make your way down. Take your time. Inhale, slide your hands up to your knees or thighs. Re-extend the spine. Now the legs or the knees can stay bent. Exhale back down to your fold. A brief pause right there for that release, that nice stretch. Then roll back towards your heels. Bend your knees, look forward, extend the arms out and then up. Reach up, stand up tall, reach for the sky. Exhale, bring your hands together and back down to your heart. Let's take a couple of breaths here as we just reconnect. Just introducing movement into the body, guided by breath. Let's continue with our sun salute. Whenever you're ready, go at your own pace. Inhale, reach into the air. Exhale, swan dive forward, hinging at the hips, bent knees. Inhale, rise up halfway. We'll call this monkey pose, long, flat back. Exhale, bend your knees enough, this time placing your hands on your mat in front of you. Walk or step both of your feet back into plank pose. Hold for a moment here. Firm press of your hands into the mat, making sure your hips are lifting up a little bit, maybe here at shoulder level, to keep that nice core connection. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, bend your knees a little, send your hips into the air. This should guide you into downward facing dog. Make any adjustments that you need to. You might tiptoe forward a little bit, adjust your hands on your mat, and just settle into your pose. I like to keep a good bend in the knees here. Send your hips way up and back as your hands press deeply into the ground. Nice lengthening through your arms and your whole torso. Let's get a little bit more leg stretching going on right here by pedaling the feet. Press one heel down, feel that stretch in the calf muscle, and then just alternate, pressing the other heel down. And just like you're walking the dog, bending the knees, let the hips shift side to side, whatever feels natural as you're pressing one heel down as the other heel lifts, and then alternate. Feel the stretch in your toes. Just come back to a static hold. Take a nice full breath in. As you exhale, walk, step, or even hop both feet back up to the top of your mat. Inhale, rise up halfway. We'll exhale, we'll fold. Roll back into your heels, bend your knees, sweep your arms out and up. Let's stand up tall once again, reaching high, big stretch. Exhale, hands back down to your heart. There we are. Let's continue. We're just going to keep adding on to this sequence. Inhale, reach into the air, lengthening through the sides of your body. Exhale, swan dive forward, soft knees. Inhale, rise up halfway. Let the top of your head lead you forward. Exhale, bend your knees. Place your hands on your mat. Let's step back into plank pose. Let's breathe in. This exhale will bend the elbows, coming down, all the way down to your belly. Long legs, point your toes behind you. Now, if your shoulders are dipping towards the floor, as mine are now, you're going to roll the shoulders back away from the ground. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. We're just going to press into the floor a little bit, just to lift the chest a little bit. So we're really lengthening, reaching through your toes, reaching through the top of your head and the top of your sternum. Lengthening in these opposite directions. As you exhale, still draw your belly button up towards your spine. Be sure to squeeze your shoulder blades together behind you. We'll just call this a low cobra. Breathe in. As you exhale, push back to hands and knees, tuck your toes, and then lift your hips up into the air. Return to your downward facing dog. Make those adjustments. You might need to do that every time. A little tiptoe forward is nice. Let's continue. Inhale, extend your right leg up, reaching back nice and long. Exhale, let's bring this right foot to the top of the mat. Once you've landed here in this lunge, you may have shifted the body weight forward like this. You're going to turn your left heel to the floor behind you, but shift your weight back so you have more pressure in that back foot. So you feel a bit more balanced and less weight in your hands. You should be able to float up a little bit, extending the spine. Take your arms out to the side or forward, and then reach up into the air. Let's hold for a second in Warrior One. Take another breath in, reaching a little higher. Exhale, let's fold. Let's bring the hands back down to the mat. Slide that right foot back to meet the other. Let's do our Cobra Pose again. So you're exhaling to come all the way down to belly. Long legs, point your toes. Roll the shoulders away from the ground. Squeeze shoulder blades together. Let's inhale to get some more length in the body, moving in opposite directions. And the exhale, a gentle lift. You're not lifting very high at all. Let's keep this low. Inhale once again. Exhale, let's push back to hands and knees, curl toes, lifting hips into the air. Make your adjustments, little tiptoe forward, downward facing. Other side, inhale, extend left leg up into the air, reaching long. Exhale, left foot to the top of your mat. Let's land up top. Right heel turns to the floor. Be sure to shift your weight back, finding that balance, making sure you have a good pressure back there. You should be able to rise up quite easily to fingertips. Look forward to extend spine, arms out to the side, out and up, reaching into the air. And here's our warrior one. Take another breath in, and our exhale, let's fold, bringing the hands back down to the mat, stepping back into plank pose. Chaturanga Dandasana, coming down. You can go to Cobra Pose again, coming to the belly, or follow through to upward facing dog, right here. Nice back bend, heart forward, gaze forward. Exhale, hips to sky, downward facing dog. Hold here for a couple of breaths. Then you're going to bring your knees to the floor. Sit back briefly in hero pose. We're going to take a seat. Just slide off onto the heels. Onto your hips. Swing the legs around to the front. Sitting in the center of your mat, and go ahead and lie down onto your back. You're going to lie down with your knees bent, feet flat on the floor. We're going to move into a bridge pose. So just a nice back bend, just to open up through the front body here. Now your feet and your knees can be hip distance apart. That's fine. You can also take the feet a little wider towards the edges of your mat. That just feels a little bit more comfortable for me. You choose what you need to do. You're going to take a nice full breath in to fill up your lungs. Exhale to empty the belly. You might even feel your low back press down into the floor. And then scoop through your pelvis, lifting your hips up into the air. And there we are. Now to help stabilize, we're certainly pressing the feet firmly into the ground. Hips are lifting. You can use your upper body here too. Maybe bend your elbows, press the backs of your arms down into the mat. I'm going to make some adjustments with my feet here. Pressing triceps into the floor. I can really feel the upper body expand and lift and open. Now you might even get your shoulder blades a little bit to squeeze together underneath you. Well-supported posture. Remember this sensation because you're really activating the body. Pressing feet into the floor. You might even feel your thighs fire up, your glutes, maybe even your hamstrings a bit. Chest opening. Take one more breath in and out. Now wiggle your toes forward a little bit. Extend your arms straight up into the air, then roll your way back down to the mat. Let's take an extension here. Reach your arms behind you and extend the legs out in front of you, just to stretch. Breathe in to get a little longer. And as you exhale, let's bring the knees into chest. You can just catch your knees with your hands. And a little rocking, maybe left and right, maybe some circles here. And then start a gradual rocking forward and back. Return to the awareness of your breath with a good exhale. You want to rock your way up to a boat pose, or really just to a seated position here. And we'll set up for boat. I like to set up this way. So making sure we've got a good knee bend, flex your feet with the heels on the floor, toes pointing up. Hold on to your handlebars. That's your knees right here with your hands. You can start with a fully extended spine sitting straight up like you're in a straight back chair. Exhale to engage your belly and then lean back like so, keeping a nice angle but straight line through the spine. This can be your boat pose. You can stay just like this. Maybe you want to lean back a little bit more if you desire. You might even step the heels in a little closer, which may allow you to lift the feet off the floor. You can free up the hands and reach out like so. You can be here. You can even extend the arms straight up, even extend the legs if you want to. I'm going to stay here. Or you can back it up and bring the heels back down to the mat. A couple more breaths. So we're just finding some good stabilization and strength right here in our core center, and also stabilizing and strengthening our backs. Let's breathe in. And the exhale, let's cross legs. If you can, roll forward, hands in front, and step back into plank pose. Let's finish the flow. We'll bend the elbows coming down, perhaps Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale to up dog. You can even choose Cobra Pose again. Then exhale, downward facing dog. Hold for a moment just to steady the body. Breathe in. And your exhale, walk, step, or jump. Both feet back up to the top of your mat. Let's inhale to extend the spine. Exhale, fold, weights in the heels right here. Bend your knees. Let's inhale, coming all the way back up to standing, reaching into the air. Exhale, hands to heart. Take a few breaths. All right, we're going to move into some balancing. We're going to move into tree pose, and we're going to shift into something a little different after that. Just go ahead and bring your arms down by your side for a moment. Let the shoulders naturally roll back. Nice opening up through the chest. Now start shifting weight over into your right foot. Root down firmly down into the mat. Nice and long and tall through the spine. Maybe an inhale to feel that lifting and lengthening. Exhale, draw belly in. Then go ahead and float your left foot up into the air. Bend your knee. Nice flexed foot right there. We're going to swing the knee out to the side just to open up the hip, and then place this foot on the inside of your standing leg. I always go to my calf muscle. You can certainly bring this up higher. Just grab your ankle or shin and bring your foot to inner thigh if you want to, or keep it at your calf level, or even bring the toes to the floor just for a little extra stability if you need some more balance. Once you've got your foot in place, make sure you're looking forward. We'll inhale, extend your arms straight up, big stretch, nice and tall. Exhale, keep that connection to center body. Very good. It's okay if you wiggle or wobble a little bit or even need to step out of your pose. That's all a part of it. Nice extension, reaching with each breath in, and the exhale to keep connecting to your center. As you're able, stay here. Let's swing that left knee forward. Here's the second part. You're going to lift that knee with the flexed foot, so your thigh is just parallel to the floor. I'm just going to turn sideways here for a moment. You're just going to extend that leg forward, just so it's fully straight. It doesn't have to lift high at all, just long. Just be sure maybe your foot is flexed, pushing through the heel. And once you've got that full extension, even with the low leg, that's fine. Just reach up a little higher. Hold for a second, and then slowly bring that foot down to the mat. Let's sweep the arms out and down by your side. Let's finish this with a little shake. Roll those shoulders. Roll them backward, roll them forward. You can even really shake them out. There you go. Okay, let's do the other side. So same sequence. Starts with tree pose and that little extra balance. Hold for a moment in mountain. Start shifting your weight over to your left foot. Root down into the floor. You want to feel that nice thigh engagement. Nice long spine. Inhale, get tall. Exhale to connect. Ready to balance. Let's float the right foot up. Bend the knee with the flexed foot. A flexed foot just keeps the leg active. Let's swing the knee out to the side. Let's place this foot on the inside of the standing leg. Low, medium, or high. You decide where you want to place it because it could be different from the first side. Let's inhale to extend the arms straight up into the sky. Big reach, stretch. That's it, lengthening. Hold. Now we're still actively breathing. You're inhaling to get taller and longer through the spine. You might be reaching up a little higher. And we're also connecting to center. Exhaling, drawing belly in, and even feel like you're maybe holding on to something between your hands. Let's swing that knee forward now, second version. Let's lift that knee with the flexed foot so your thigh is parallel with the floor, right here. Let's extend that leg. Flex the foot, drive through the heel. Okay, straight leg, not worried about the height, it's about the extension here. Let's get a little bit more space in the hips by reaching up a little higher. Still hugging into center line, both arms and even that one leg squeezing inward. Slowly bring that foot back down to the mat. Let's sweep the arms out and back down by your side. And again, go ahead and shake it out. Shake out the arms, even your hands and fingers, in a nice big circle with the shoulders. Very nicely done. All right, let's continue our flow, our nice vinyasa. Here we go. Inhale, extend your arms up into the air. Exhale, swan dive. Now remember to go at your own pace. If I'm going too fast, you don't have to go at this pace. Go at your own pace. Inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale, bend your knees, hands to your mat, step back, plank pose. Finish your push-up, come down, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, up dog or choose cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's keep this moving. We're going to inhale, extend right leg up into the air. Hold for a second because we're going to bend that knee. Bend your right knee and then lift your knee up towards the ceiling. It'll create a natural twist in the spine. It opens the hips. Breathe in right here. As you exhale, unwind and step right foot to the top of the mat. Left heel turns to the floor. Be sure to shift your weight back. Balance on 2 feet. Inhale, rising up to Warrior 1. And our exhale here to Warrior 2. Let's settle into this pose. I'm going to take my feet out a little wider. A little bit more distance between the feet to get a nice hip opener. Extending out through the arms. Now you can just look forward, okay? Keeping a neutral neck, or you might be looking out over your right hand. Reach. Feel the great energy of this pose. All right, side angle. Just follow your right arm forward to angle the upper half of the body. Then we'll rotate the arms, bring the right arm down, maybe towards the inside of the leg, while your left arm extends up towards the ceiling. Now, I'm staying up high. I just like doing it this way. You certainly can go lower, maybe bringing the right hand down to the floor. This is where your blocks can also come in handy. Maybe placing your hand on a stacked set of blocks. Nice opening here. Let's breathe in. And the exhale, let's turn to bring the hands back down to the floor. We're just going to step back, hips into the sky, right away to a downward facing dog. Other side. Inhale, extend your left leg up into the air. Bend the knee, lifting the knee up towards the ceiling. A natural rotation in the spine, hip opener. Breathe in. As you exhale, let's unwind. Let's step that left foot now up to the top of the mat. Right heel turns to the floor, shifting the weight back for balance. Rising up, inhale, Warrior 1, reaching up into the air. Exhale, let's open up to a Warrior 2. Settle in, check in, just make any adjustments. Again, I'm going to take my feet just a tad bit wider. Reaching out, good opening for the body. Side angle, let's reach out over this left arm now. Rotate the arms, left arm down, right arm up. Stay high or low if you'd like. Use your blocks. I really love this pose. This is one of my favorite postures. I love the opening of the hips and that side stretch. You can even emphasize that a little bit more by reaching your right arm over your head a bit. There's that lengthening. Feels really good. Okay, breathe in. And the exhale to turn. Let's bring the hands back down to the floor. Step back into plank pose this time to complete the series. So come down if you like, chaturanga, up dog or cobra. That's a nice breath in and exhale. Downward facing dog. We have another lunge sequence. So right away, inhale, extend right leg up. Keep it straight. Exhale, bring right foot right up to the top of the mat. Land. We're going to go for a high lunge, which means the left heel will stay lifted. You're going to shift the weight back towards that lifted left heel, however. So we have more balance once again. Inhale, rising up, reaching your arms up into the sky. Holding here. Now this takes a little bit more balance. This kind of reminds me of tree pose because it takes balance, mainly because that left heel behind us is lifted and we can feel a little wobbly. So to help stabilize, feel your inner thighs squeeze in towards each other so you can really activate the legs and a nice reaching up sensation. Now, we're going to inhale, lift. As we're lifting, we're straightening that front leg. Pivot or turn left heel to the floor, turn sideways, and bring your arms down to parallel. Make sure both legs are straight. We're moving to triangle pose. Now, start reaching out over that right straight leg, and we're going to tip it over. There's our triangle right there. Again, you don't have to touch the ground. My hand is right here at my knee. I'm feeling the hamstring stretch. That's exactly what I want to feel. Hopefully, you're feeling that too. We're going to add a little bit more sensation to this. Try this with me. You don't have to necessarily move too much to get deeper into this pose, but we can activate the hips a little bit more. We'll do that by lifting the toes. Lift your toes, just your toes, and then push the heel of your foot and the balls of your foot into the floor. It'll really fire up the leg, and it also stabilizes the hips, and it just really turns on that hamstring. You could go a little deeper because you've maximized some of that stabilization. You might go a little deeper, but not necessary. Good triangle pose right here. So there's that nice hamstring stretch and lengthening. Now we're holding this a little bit longer so we can get that sensation that we want. Coming out of the pose, we'll bend the right knee, nice lunge. Let's come up to a Warrior 2. Let's turn this into a reversed warrior by taking the right arm up into the air. A nice stretch feeling. Then we'll windmill, bringing both hands down to the floor in front. We'll step back into downward facing dog, right there, just sliding right into it. So hips are in the air, both feet on the ground. Then inhale, extend your left leg straight up. Exhale, left foot to the top of the mat, landing. Keeping the right heel lifted, but shifting the weight back. Find that balance. Start to extend the spine and then rise up. You'll just float right up into the air. Take your time if you need to, reaching up and even lunging a little deeper. Remember to squeeze the inner thighs towards each other a little bit for more stabilization. Since we are in balance, that right heel is lifted. We'll inhale to lift ourselves up, straightening the left leg, turning open for our triangle prep. Legs are straight, arms extended. Follow the left arm forward. You might even feel your right hip shifting back. You're going to start to feel that hamstring stretch. Rotate the arms, left hand to the inner leg, right hand up into the air. You choose where you want to go. I'm staying up high. You certainly can go down a little bit lower. To stabilize and activate a little bit more, we're still going to lift those toes. Press the balls of your foot and heel into the floor. Feel that firing up sensation in the whole leg. Stabilizing, maybe going a little deeper if you desire. We're going to hold here, really maximizing that stretch and release through the hamstring. Coming out of the pose, let's bend this left knee, nice lunge and leverage so we can come back up to a warrior two. Let's reverse the warrior, left arm reaching up into the air. And we'll windmill. Bring the hands down to the floor in front. We'll step back into plank pose so you can complete the series. Come on down. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Hold here for a moment. And we're going to return to the ground. Bring your knees to the floor. Sit back into hero just very briefly, and then sit off to the side and swing the legs out front. Now here you might want to scoot back a little bit so you can extend your legs and your feet are on your mat. Here's where you might want to use your strap. Okay, we're going to take our seated position, starting in staff pose, but we are going to take a seated forward fold in a moment. So let's get that strap ready, or your belt or jump rope, whatever you're using as a strap. Now you don't have to use a strap, but it's just a nice tool to use. We're just going to get it wrapped around the bottoms of the feet. And let's just activate this. Actually, just let that rest for a moment. Let's do our staff pose. So just bring your hands down to your hips. Flex your feet. As you press into the floor with your hands, feel the lifting and lengthening of your spine. As you exhale, roll the shoulders back, a little squeeze of the shoulder blades together, and draw your belly button in towards spine. We're just holding for a few breaths. This is a great hamstring stretch on its own. You don't necessarily need to fold. Staff pose. Alrighty, let's go for that forward fold. Hold on to the strap. You might want to bend the elbows so your elbows are right here by your sides like this. And if you tug the strap a little bit, that'll help your upper body just lift up a little higher so you don't collapse into your low back like this, and just sit up nice and tall. So we're going to inhale, feel that lengthening. As you exhale, start to hinge at the hips, and leading with your heart and chin, just hinge forward just a little bit, not much at all. Now, maybe this is the end of your pose. You can stay just like this if you feel like, oh, wow, there's that stretch. This is exactly what I want. I'm staying just like this. If you're not feeling anything, then you may want to go a little further. Don't force this. Just really take your time with it. Inhale a bit more, lengthen the spine at this new angle. Exhale, pull belly in and hinge. Now, I'm starting to feel this. My legs are still straight, but you can also go a little further if you want to. Without straining, let's bend the knees. Bend your knees quite a bit if you need to. And as you fold, maybe your back will naturally round. You can certainly do that. Again, you can just hold on to the strap just as a way to support yourself, just like this. But if you're able, maybe you don't need the strap, and maybe you're reaching out and touching your toes, or maybe your hands are resting here at your shins. We're going to stay here for a few more breaths so you can, again, just maximize that lengthening process through the hamstrings. But if your back is curved, we're just adding a nice flexion in the back, creating a nice stretch, even a release, a broadening of the back. Take your time with this. If you've made a little bit more space, you might be able to go a little further, but certainly not necessary. Let's take 3 more breaths here. After your 3rd breath, if you have a hold of the strap, just release your strap. All of us, let's reach out forward with the arms. Inhale, let's sit up nice and tall. Reach up towards the ceiling. Big stretch. Exhale, bring the arms, your hands back down, hands by your hips right here. Just return to that staff pose. Just keep pressing into the floor. Feel tall and lengthened through the spine. Roll the shoulders back. Engage belly. Heart opened. Hold for a breath or 2. And that's it. Good. Let's come to cobbler's pose. I'm just going to turn to face you. So bring the soles of the feet together. Here's an opportunity to just move that strap out of the way. You might hold on to your feet, but you can hold on to your ankles or your shins. And here again, we also want to sit up nice and tall, nice lengthened spine. You can stay just like this, or if you want a little bit more stretch in the inner thighs, be sure to breathe in, get tall, exhale, draw belly in. Again, leading with your heart and chin, just hinge forward a little bit. Just a little bit. You can see if I turn this way, you can see that I'm not even folding forward that far at all. It feels really good. A nice opening in the inner thighs. Again, that flexion or that release in the low back. Just a couple more breaths. Take a nice full breath in to rise up nice and tall in your seat. Take the hands behind you, lean back into your hands for a moment. Now we're just going to press down into the floor, and you can see how your torso, or feel how your torso lifts as the shoulders roll back, your heart opens a little bit. You might create this minor back bend like this. This is another nice way to open up through the hips and inner thighs. You can also press down into the floor more, literally lift yourself up off the floor, and even send your pelvis down towards your heels. Heart opening and lifting, tipping the head back. This is just really maximizing this posture. You don't have to go this far at all, but just a little extra if you'd like to. And then let's come back down. Let's go to boat pose. So you're going to bring the knees together like so, lifting the feet, holding onto your handlebars. Be sure to extend the spine, nice angled upper body right here. Remember, you can always do this with heels on the ground. You can hold on for dear life or bring the hands out like this just to free them up. Couple breaths here. Let's get a good flow. Let's breathe in and exhale. Let's cross legs, hands in front. Walk or step both feet back into plank pose. Finish your sequence. Come on down, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hold for a moment. Take a nice full breath in. And your exhale to walk, step, or even hop both feet up to the top of the mat. Inhale, rising up halfway. Exhale, fold. Let's just pause here for a few breaths. We just did a seated forward fold, and now let's just that return to the standing forward fold. We certainly started our practice this way. And just notice how this feels, maybe in comparison to the first time you were here. Now go ahead and roll back into your heels, bend your knees. We'll inhale to stand up nice and tall. Reach for the ceiling. Exhale, bring your arms down by your side. Mountain pose. Hold for a moment. Good. All right, now we're going to need our strap again. We're going to come back to, remember we did tree pose and that leg extension? Now we are just going to do that leg extension, but we're going to use the strap. Go ahead and place the strap around your, underneath your left foot. and then hold on to the strap. And stand up nice and tall. Mountain pose. Start shifting your weight into your right foot, root down. Exhale, engaging belly. And you're going to lift the foot using the strap. It's like you're a marionette puppet. So just lifting the foot and the thigh has come to parallel. And just hold on to that for a moment. And place this right hand on your right hip, just for stabilization. And also, what you want to feel here as that hand is on your hip, you want to feel it press down. You want to feel like you're moving that hip downward. And at the same time, your torso is lifting taller. That's your in-breath. And an exhale to extend that leg forward with the strap underneath the foot. And again, it doesn't have to meet parallel. It might be kind of low like you did that first time. But as you're able, maybe start bringing it up. Since you don't have to reach out to grab the toe, you can just use the strap and maybe the leg can lift a little higher. Perfectly fine if you need to put a bend in your knee. Don't worry about it. But if you can extend it, extend. And be sure you don't feel too crumpled in your own body. We want to get that standing leg nice and tall. That's why you have the hand on the hip to push pelvis down. Get nice and tall up top, extending through that lifted leg, maybe pushing through the heel. Lifting up. Now be aware if you might be tipping backward. We want to see if we can keep a nice flush, lengthen back like you're flush up against a wall, for example. A couple more breaths if you've got it. Then we'll go ahead and bend that knee and we'll release that foot down to the ground. All right, go ahead and shake it out. That's not very easy, and don't worry about it being too hard or challenging. That's what we're doing. We're challenging the body. We're getting that nice extension through the leg. Let's go ahead and switch. So now the strap underneath your right foot. Shifting weight into your left foot. Left hand on your hip. Nice and tall already. Gazing forward. Long spine. Let's lift the right foot into the air, bending the knee of a marionette puppet. Just check in with balance, restabilize, and then whenever you're ready, just start to extend that leg. And again, it doesn't have to be parallel with the floor. Check in with the standing leg. Is it straight and strong? Is your torso lifting and lengthening? Do you have a lengthened spine? Do you feel like you're flush against a wall? If you're able, maybe that leg can lift a little higher, even if you need to put a bend in the knee. Just do your best. It's okay if you wobble or fall out of the pose. Perfect. Just means you're working hard. Deep breathing. Keeping your focus forward. That can also help. Or just finding something out in front of you to focus on. A couple more breaths. And we'll go ahead and bend the knee. That's just a little easier. Bend the knee, and then we'll set that foot back down onto the mat. Excellent. Whew. Shake that out. We're done with the strap, so you can set that down. And even a little shake at the legs here, shoulders, releasing some of that tension. Great work. All righty, let's add on some new poses. Okay, again, just getting a little bit more into the legs. Let's flow. Inhale, extend your arms into the air, big stretch. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, monkey pose, our long flat back. Exhale, bend your knees, hands to the mat. We'll step back, plank pose. Come on down if you like, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Keep it moving. Inhale, extend your right leg up. Reach, bend, twist open. As you exhale, let's bring that right foot now up to the top of the mat. Warrior one. Turn your left heel to the floor, shifting the weight back into that foot. Let's rise up. Inhale, reaching into the air, warrior one. And exhale, warrior two. A little wider if you'd like. Right into our side angle, reaching forward, angled upper body. Rotate the arms. Maybe taking left arm over your head for that side body stretch. Breathe in. Listen carefully. We're going to exhale, turn. Bring your hands down to the floor. Step back into down dog. You're going to sweep this right foot back and up into the air this time. Returning to down dog. Hold. Breathe in for more length. Exhale, right foot to the top of the mat for high lunge. Left heel will stay lifted. Do shift the weight back. Find balance. Inhale, rise up into the lunging position. Find it. We're going to inhale, get tall, lengthening through both legs. Exhale, pivot and open to your triangle prep. And let's take triangle, reaching out, that's it, out over that right thigh, rotate the arms. Maximizing, stabilizing. We're going to lift those toes, drive the heel and balls of the foot into the floor. Feel that in the legs. Maybe going a little deeper. Once again, we're holding. Now we're going to add on from here. Bend the right knee, lunge, coming back up to a warrior two. Reverse your warrior, reaching into the air. And as you're reaching up, re-extend the right leg. And you might feel a bit more of a stretch through the right side of your body. This back hand, this left hand might be on hip. It can just be reaching out to the side like so. But nice support here on the hip if you need it. Now come back up to that triangle prep right here, okay? Now that foot, your toes are pointing forward. We're going to turn your right foot so all 10 toes are pointing in the same direction and we're here. I just call this a star shape right here. I'm going to turn sideways for this. You stay where you are. All right? We're going to breathe in, reach out, get tall in your star. Exhale, pull belly in, bend in the knees, and then fold. I just want you to see that. Bend your knees. Fold forward, bring your fingertips to the floor, if you can reach. Inhale, rise up to fingertips to extend the spine. Then exhale, fold again. We're going to hold this. Now we're in a wide-legged forward fold. You can even adjust this. I'm going to take my feet out a little wider. Keep a softness in your knees. We don't want to lock out the knees in this pose. Some nice deep breaths. What's nice about this version of a forward fold, with the legs wide as they are, is that it really hits many parts of the legs, not just your hamstrings. It hits the outer shins, it gets the inner legs as well as the hamstrings here in your calves. Now we're going to rise back up to fingertips to re-extend spine, so follow me. We're right here. Hold. Lean back into your heels a bit, bend your knees. It'll feel like you're sitting down like that. That should allow you perhaps to extend your arms out to the side. See if you can hold that for a moment. Again, you're going to feel some activation in the legs, even with the knees bent. We're going to inhale to stand up nice and tall. Just come back to that star shape right here. Turn the right foot forward, lunging into a warrior two. We're in a windmill. Bring this left hand up and over. Turn. Bring your hands to the floor. We're stepping back into plank pose and coming down. Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. We're going to do that same sequence on the other side. Let's inhale, extend left leg up into the air. Bend and twist open. On the exhale, let's unwind it. Let's step the left foot up to the top of the mat, landing. Right heel turns to the floor, shifting the weight back. Let's inhale, rising up, warrior one. And our exhale to warrior two. A little bit more distance between the feet if you'd like. Side angle, reaching out. Angled upper body, rotate the arms. Maybe following right arm over your head, reaching and stretching. Inhale. Here we go. Exhale, turn. Bring your hands to the floor. Step back, down dog. Just sweep the left foot back and up into the air. Straight leg. Exhale, return left foot to the top of the mat. High lunge. Right heel stays lifted, shifting the weight back. Inhale to rise. High lunge. Squeeze the inner thighs to find that balance. Keep rising up until the legs are straight, opening up to our triangle pose prep. Lengthening out or reaching out over that extended left leg, rotate the body. We're now in triangle. Let's hold here. Lifting the toes, drive the heel and balls of the foot into the floor. Notice what happens in the leg and in your pelvis. Couple more breaths. Coming out, let's bend the knee first. Nice leverage so we can come back up to our warrior two. Let's reverse the warrior, left hand reaching up into the air. Hold. Keep reaching and re-extend the left leg. getting a little bit more stretch to the left side body. For me, it's a little lower. It's below the ribs, getting close to the belt line. And we tend to get a little tight right in that space, so that's nice. Come back to your triangle pose prep right here. And you're going to turn those toes so all 10 toes are facing the same direction, making your star shape. I'm just turning sideways. You can already start taking the feet wider if you'd like. This is the same thing we did earlier. You're going to inhale, reach out with the arms, feel tall. Exhale, pull belly in, bend your knees. That's just for safety in your back as you fold. We're doing the exact same thing, bringing the hands down to the floor. Let's inhale, re-extend spine, rising up to fingertips, extending, and exhale back down. Make any adjustments with the feet, maybe taking them a little wider. If they're too wide, maybe bringing them in a little closer. Remember to keep that softness in your knees, and fold. You can add on to this. Since your body has been here already, you can add some things to this pose. Maybe you'll walk your hands over towards your right foot. A little twist in the spine, a little opening in the hips, a little different sensation in the legs. So you just kind of choose, kind of play with this. So something like this. Or maybe you're still in your forward fold, maybe holding onto the backs of your legs. A little lean forward, I like this. Holding onto the backs of the legs and just leaning forward a little bit. And really feeling that stretch all the way down through the legs. You might even rotate a little bit. Here, if you've got a block, here's something you can try if you want. Bringing a block out in front of you. Kind of lifting until your spine is straight like this. And maybe taking an arm up into the air. Just get a little rotation. Still some good opening in the hips. Nice spinal rotation. And you might still feel this in your legs too. So again, just kind of playing with this as we hold this posture a few more breaths longer. Take your time. Maybe take 3 to 5 more breaths. Maybe in that process, you're making your way back to this original forward fold. Once you're here, we're going to inhale, rise back up to fingertips to re-extend spine, hold. You're going to lean back into your heels, bend your knees, feel like you're sitting down a little bit. There's the thigh activation. If you can, extend your arms out to the side, hold that for a few seconds longer, really feel that in your legs. You're going to take a nice breath in. Even an exhale is fine here just to give power to the body, to rise up into your tall. Okay, back up into our star shape right there. Let's turn the left foot forward, lunging into our warrior 2. And then our windmill. Right hand coming up and over. Turn, bring your hands down to the mat. Let's step back into plank pose, finishing that nice sequence, coming down, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Let's take another seat. Bring the knees to the floor. Sit back into hero. Sliding off to one side, swinging the legs around to the front. Find the center of your mat and go ahead and lie down onto your back. Now we're going to return to that bridge pose. Feet, again, maybe hip distance apart, a little wider, perfectly fine. You just choose that placement. Take a moment before we activate. Just let everything relax for a moment. Take a breath or two. There we go. Now let's move. Inhale just to fill up your lungs. Exhale to empty the belly, engaging, pressing feet into the floor. Lift the hips right up into the air. Remember, use those elbows or the backs of your arms down into your mat to help you lift your hips up into the air. I'm going to make some adjustments with my own feet. I felt a little unstable there. There we go. Lifting hips. Now remember, we're driving down into the mat to really open and the front side of the body, letting it float up into the air. See if you can maintain that good groundedness. We're adding on to this. Breathe in. As you exhale, we're extending right leg up into the air. Reach. Now we're still driving that left foot into the floor, backs of your arms down into the floor to maximize the lifting sensation. So you stay afloat, lifting, but feel like that right leg is taking you up into the air. You're going to feel that left thigh really working hard for you as well. All right, let's bend that right knee. Let's bring that right foot back down to the mat. Maybe make some adjustments in your back bend. Holding for a second. Let's get set up for the other side. First, take a nice breath in. Fill up your lungs. Exhaling to support body, and then extend left leg up into the air. Reach, feel even more lifted, like that leg is just going to carry you up into the sky. That right leg, it's really working hard. Right foot pressing into the floor, really feeling the thigh muscle engage. Remember the backs of your arms pressing down into the mat, heart lifting. Breathe in, exhale, bend that left knee, set the foot down onto the floor. Good work. Let's step forward a little bit with the feet. Extend your arms straight up into the air and roll your way down. Let's lengthen once again through the whole body. Reaching back behind you with your arms, reaching through your feet out in front. All right. Now, you're just going to hug just your right knee into your chest like this. Now we're going to extend that leg back up into the air without the bridge pose this time. Now you can just extend it like this and just hold on to maybe your knee or hamstring or calf. Maybe you can even reach your toes or grab that strap and just wrap your strap around your foot with the knee bent and then extend. And this time, whether you have the strap or just holding onto your calf perhaps, inhale to feel the full length of the leg. Exhale, just a little tug, drawing the leg back over you, like you're going to send your toes back over your head. And just notice that hamstring stretch. Perfectly fine if that knee needs to bend, no worries. Couple breaths. Let's bend the right knee, bring the foot down. Let's re-extend the whole body again, extending that leg. Let's take a nice reach of both arms behind. Let's do the other side. Let's bring the left knee in, hug it in. Same thing, if you want to use a strap, this is the opportunity to wrap the strap around the foot. And with a good exhale, let's extend that leg into the air. Holding on to the leg, anywhere along the leg. Maybe you can reach your toes or use the strap. Inhale to find the full length of the leg as best as you can, and the exhale to draw it in. Feel that stretch. Use deep cleansing breaths, especially when you are working through some tight spaces in the body. That's when we really want to use the breath. It's like a nice cleansing, a clearing feeling through those tight spaces. All right, let's go ahead and bend the knee. Let's re-extend the entire body, leg to the floor, arms behind you, reach and stretch. Then go ahead and bring both knees into chest, another hug right here, and maybe some movement. Rocking forward and back, left and right, some circles. And then choose a hip opener. Lots of things you can do. You can just take the legs wide, just opening up to get a little nice inner thigh stretch. Like that, you can move into happy baby pose, grabbing hold of the bottoms of the feet so the feet face the ceiling. A good knee bend, you'll press the feet down. Knees will feel like they're coming down towards the floor on either side of you. You can do that, or you can even add this one, Reclining Cobbler. 2 versions of this. You can keep the feet in the air like this, holding on to the feet, and just use this sensation, pressing the heels down toward your pelvis. Your knees feel like they're pushing forward gently. That opens the hips. There's this version, or the little bit more relaxed version by setting the feet onto the floor. I'm going to take this version. You just take your time with this hip opener, whether it's the happy baby pose or just the inner thigh stretch or cobbler's pose. There's certainly no rush, but whenever you're ready to move, our next pose will be a twist, a spinal twist. So whenever you're ready, you can just bring your knees together, another hug of the body, knees into your body. We'll start by taking the knees over to the left side. And extend your right arm to the right side. Nice rotation here in the spine. This opens the hips. Even taking note of your breath, maybe it's a little bit more soothing and calming at this point. Maybe another breath or two. And when you're ready, go ahead and bring the knees back up to center. Even a little pause right here. And then take the knees down to the other side. Spinal twist. Whenever you're ready to move, there's certainly no rush. Finishing your twisting practice, let's bring the knees back up to center and extend the legs out in front and just soften the entire body as you move into Shavasana. Maybe it's very comfortable for you here, just lying flat on your back, arms down by your side, palms up. Let your feet relax and your legs relax and just settle into the space. If you have a different posture that feels much better for you, something that's a little bit more restorative, that might mean using some props. Maybe you have a blanket you want to set underneath you or a bolster underneath bent knees. Anything that would feel good. Elevate your upper body, elevate your legs. You can even roll onto your side into a nurturing pose or even come to seated. So just take the next few moments finding stillness, comfort, and ease in your body. Our Shavasana practice. Feel free to stay exactly as you are. No rush to move at all. And wherever you are, just keep your focus on your breath. Maybe just slow, easy breathing. And when it's time for you to move, maybe just deepen that breath. Lower, slower, longer breaths. Feel it bring energy back into your body. And as that energy returns, slowly and carefully roll onto either side of your body. Remember, there's no rush to move. If you're still lying on your back, stay exactly as you are. Maybe holding for a few moments in your nurturing pose. And then when it's time to move, just use your breath to give you energy and rise up to seated. Take your time. And just finding a comfortable seated posture, nice long lengthened spine. You can just relax your arms and hands in your lap, or you might bring hands to heart center. On your own, take a nice full breath in. Fill up your entire body, your heart space. Exhale. And just hold for a moment in stillness, breathing gently. And as we come to the close of our practice together, we bow saying, Namaste.